Hello, we're back at Falkous Wales. It's 2025. We're here in Wrexham.
We are.
It's a lovely place. It's very sunny, surprisingly.
Is it sunny?
I don't know. Is it?
Nah, it's not. Maybe by Welsh standards, it's sunny.
I think by Welsh standards, possibly.
I think even by Madagascan standards, it's not.
Yes.
It's not
No. It's not. But anyway, I need to introduce my guest right now. It's Andy Falkous, aka Falco from mclusky, also Future on the Left, and various other projects, Christian Fitness amongst them.
Correct, yeah.
It's not your first time in Wrexham.
No, it's my third time in Wrexham.
Your third time in Wrexham.
Yeah.
Were the other two good?
The other two okay.
Yeah.
It's nice to be asked, but the rocking chair, and it's such an honour to play a venue named after a Charlatans B-side. Is not the greatest sounding room in the world.
No.
Although the old sound guy cliche goes, it sounds better when people are in the room.
Yeah.
You know? So hopefully there'll be 7,000 people in the room in order to make it sound 7,000 people better.
I think you're kind of pushing your luck there. Really.
Well, what is luck if not to be pushed?
Exactly.
Whenever you play a place which isn't like one of London, Manchester, Bristol, where frankly you can take for granted that bands are coming through for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And Wrexham is a place which will be missed off most touring bands' schedules because obviously you've got Liverpool pretty close by, or whatever. So yeah, it's nice. I mean, I do remember last time being struck by the sheer volume of boy racers. Last time I was here
in Wrexham,
there was a lot of revving car activity, and hey, people have got to get from A to B. I'm not sure they've got to get from A to B that loudly. That's not. It's very difficult though, as a person who goes around playing venues, not just to judge entire places by your experience of the show. Like if you're an experience of Beirut was playing a really cool rock club and everybody had a good time, you'd be like, Beirut's really chill, But the reality is
quite laid back.
The reality is that a place. The reality is that a place is not its venues and is not its shows.
No.
So I'm prepared to reserve my judgment of 2025 Wrexham for the experience of 2025.
Exactly, and why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, why wouldn't you?
Unless I was some kind of monster.
I mean, that might be the case, but that might well be. So tomorrow, May the 9th, is the release of your fourth studio album under the name mclusky, right? Okay, so it's your first one in 21 years, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's called "The World Is Still Here and So Are We," which suggests a little bit of a reminder, almost. Yeah.
For me, it's a title where the words are on the page and it's just factual. The world is still here and we are here, but it can change a lot depending on the tone you use. It could either be defiant, it could either be resigned. Because the world is still here and we are as well doesn't necessarily mean both of those things are good. But it was a title that when it occurred, it was instantly the right time.
Yeah. I mean, how you feeling about this release though? Because it's kind of it's quite a long time since the last Future Left album, but it's also quite a long time since the last mclusky album. So it must be kind of, I don't know. It must be kind of like a.
It's a bit of a surreal experience, and frankly, the years which have gone past, they make sense because lots of things happen in those times. From us, starting families to. Moving cities on multiple occasions, just living life, all the stuff which happens outside of music, but all that stuff that happens outside of music informs the music as well. Even if the music is your central tenant, the thing which everything else like builds away and from. It's a surreal experience, but to be honest, it's just really exciting. And I don't feel lucky in a lot of ways, but I feel lucky that I'm still as excited by the process and just the sheer event of releasing a record as I ever was. It's lovely to see it in shops and to have people talking about it. The trick is to keep people talking about it, because in this world we live in, the way content is king, it's a question of keeping the album in front of people's eyes and frankly ears without being a dick about it. Without using any excuse, just to keep engaging with people. You want it to feel real. You want that, for want of a better word, you want that, the album's continued existence to be organic rather than a series of really cynical promotional stunts or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't heard the entire album yet. I've heard the 4 that you've put online, and so it's almost like you haven't been away in many ways, right? Yeah. For me, it's been almost 10 years since the last Future Left album, which is kind of like
2016.
Oh yeah. So how does this kind of not even compare really, but how does this kind of feel compared to those? The first few McCluskey albums.
I mean, it feels different, obviously, because in a lot of senses, even though I've got the same name and I guess the same fingerprints, different. Well, literally different people. In the case of Damien, wasn't in the band in the original lineup. I'm a different person in lots of ways, even though. I mean, inevitably, I've got some of the same traits. Yeah. It feels different in the sense of the band, in that it feels, a rolling balloon. It's like American Beauty, but even more shit. But it feels like, in terms of the band, it feels like there's an appetite for it now, in a way that there wasn't before. Yeah. McCluskey, I mean, by virtue of the people involved, it was quite a singular enterprise, but it was particularly singular at the time. It didn't fit anywhere at all. Yeah. And not that we fit now exactly. There are a lot of bands who've been successful, notable in the interim period, who maybe, it's not that they took their cues from us exactly, but they took cues from bands that we'd taken cues from. And it just feels that there's more of a place for it in the world now. Maybe that makes it less rock and roll. Maybe it should be all about clambering against the consensus or whatever. But
but Andy, we're old men now, so
we are old men. Yeah. But the trick is to accept it and at the same time refuse to accept it.
Yeah,
that's certainly the truth with rock music. Yeah. And the other truth is, I mean, it's very easy to repeat yourself as a musician. That format of song worked for me. Let's just do another fucking one of those. Course, whereas the challenge is to keep the same spirit. Is to keep the same. What's the best way to put it? The same ideology is the wrong word, because there isn't an explicit ideology. But to keep the same spirit without literally repeating yourself. Yeah. To do something new within an old format. That's kind of the challenge.
That's the challenge. That's it. I mean, I remember reading an interview with Nick Cave many years ago when he was doing Grinder Man. Right. Which
we call it Grinderman in our house, but we like to slightly missay things for comic effect. So
yes, well, but I remember this interview with Nick Cave anyway, and he was doing Grinder Man, and it was basically the thing was people were asking him about why he changed the band name to Grinder Man when everyone in that band was still in the Bad Seeds, right? And he basically said these songs felt different; they felt like a different band, so I need to do these songs under a different name. And my question is, as a result of that, is have the songs you've written for this new McCluskey album, have they felt more like McCluskey songs, or were they just a thing that was happening when you were writing these songs?
They're McCluskey songs by virtue of the fact they were written by the 3 members of McCluskey.
Yes.
It's not really like it's so much led. Some bands are led by a person, and that the person writes the songs and brings the songs to other people. Yeah. This band more works in a room, and then I take it away and finish it off for most parts. Yeah. So it's whatever happens in the room. Yeah. An occasional song, without being able to go into specificity, or whatever the word is.
Whatever the fuck the word is. Yeah, that's fine.
It just doesn't feel like a McCluskey song. There's no visible parameters for what that constitutes.
But does it feel like a Future of the Left song, or does it feel like
something? It can. Occasionally we'll write a song, we'll go, that's a really good Future of the Left song. Right. And as a result, we don't get in the way of the song. The song still exists, but it probably won't hang around unless we can make it sound like more of a McCluskey song. There are a couple of songs on the new record, I think notably Cops and Coppers and Chekhov's Guns, which could in another world have been Future of the Left songs. Right. They kind of have that vibe to them, but they were written by the members of this band, and they're good enough to deserve an airing on this record. But inevitably over 21 years you're going to change a little bit as musicians, and you don't simply want to cosplay the past and go, a McCluskey song is this, then this, then this, then this. There's got to be some freedom on top of this rather nebulous template for it to work.
Amazing. Yeah.
I'm sorry for saying nebulous template, but
I don't know what that means. But
nebulous is something that can move. The template would be the structure in which you. Okay.
Okay.
Nebulous, I guess, means imprecise.
Okay. Oh, great. Yeah. Okay. So this album came out on Ipecac
Yes.
Which is obviously a joint venture with Mike Patton.
Yeah, it's Mike. It's
of the Faith No More.
It's basically Mike and his manager who own it, but it's run by a guy called Mark, and he's basically the guy who who does the day-to-day of the label. So he's the guy who does the day-to-day. I'm just interviewing. I'm just saying hello to someone. See you in a bit. Bye. So it came about because Mark heard Unpopular Parts of a Pig, which we recorded and put out a couple of years ago. He liked it and said he would be considered doing something. Then we met up when we were playing in Brooklyn, and he came to the show and he liked it and went from there. I've never had any contact with Mike Patton myself, but
that was my next question, to be honest with you. But
it's I guess he has to like the stuff which is on the label, but it's not like we share a bubble bath.
I'm a massive Mike Patton fan, to be honest with you, and who wouldn't be, to be honest?
I'm a fan. I'm not a completist fan. I'm more coming from, Faith No More were one of my favourite bands when I was a teenager.
I am actually wearing a Faith No More t-shirt right now, so I mean, there you go.
I mean, for me, Angel Dust is still a top 10. Still a top 10 record.
What an album that is! What an album that is! It's fucking great.
But yeah, the guy's definitely ploughed his own furrow would be an understatement.
Yes, without a doubt. Was there any other offers on the table then around this time, or was it like
there were a few, emails, but Ipecac just felt like the right fit. I think it felt like the right fit. And again, I'm not really a label guy. I knew they'd done Melvin's and some of Mike Patton's other stuff, but I'm not really a music historian guy. Some people are. It's no shade on them whatsoever. But it just felt like the right fit. It felt like the right expectations as well as the right. I mean, I would say we're probably a bit poppier than a lot of the stuff on Ipecac. Yeah. We're less informed by metal and stuff.
Do you think that comes from the Albini link, maybe?
Possibly. I'm not sure where. I'm not sure the precise origin of it, but it just felt about right. An expectation is good. You either don't want somebody who is going to expect you to reach this huge wider audience, but similarly, you need somebody who's got a little bit of cash they can put behind it. And by a little bit of cash, I mean a little bit of cash, but certainly more cash than we have access to. Yeah, which is no cash.
No cash at all. Yeah. I mean, that's the.
I've been a member of the Cashless Society for years, so way before cards became de rigueur.
Yeah, I mean that's just living in our country right now, right?
It is, man. Everything. Wow. Yeah. It's. I mean, cat health insurance. My word.
I've got to whip it, right? Fuck me. How expensive is it having a pet?
Yeah, well, our 2 cats for a year, we pay £600 in insurance alone. I mean, I love them, but they're going to have to get a fucking job, aren't they?
They are. Right? You've got children now as well.
A child, just a child, but
you have a child,
but singular child is still quite expensive. Yeah, my child is going to be very expensive. She just reeks expense.
Is she a diva?
She definitely has that side to her, but she's going to be spending money, the whole time.
I mean, that's just being a father to young girls, though, isn't it? I think that's what I learned. It's like expensive. It's fucking expensive.
It's mostly going to be instruments and Lego. To be honest, we're in a big Lego modular building phase.
Okay. Is she enjoying Lego then?
Yeah, we're basically building a Lego street together. I've got for her birthday, I've got her the jazz club, so we're building the jazz club. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I didn't really do Lego as a kid. When I was a kid, I was pretty much just all reading or playing football.
Yeah,
that's all I did. So
you're a big Newcastle fan, right?
I am, unfortunately. To say I've got divided opinions on the Saudi takeover would be an understatement, and not even really divided. Really, it's a horrendous thing.
Andy, I'm an Everton fan, right? Okay, so what the fuck?
Yeah, it's just. I mean, the game. It's bizarre football because you can, in terms of the current narrative, Brighton, let's say the good guys in inverted commas of the Premiership, and their owner is a gambling billionaire. So
do you know what? You should go and watch Darlington or Hartlepool, and I'll go and watch fucking Marine or whatever the fuck.
I've got a couple of friends who are Torquay fans,
Okay. Yeah.
And so I've been to quite a few Torquay games.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I can't even go and watch Wrexham now because they're in the fucking championship. So
oh yeah. Kind of like... If one more person says to me, you know those guys bought, you're like, yeah, everybody knows that. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone in the world.
Everybody knows that. Yeah.
Next thing, right? Okay, so you're at Falkous Wales, right? Which is a festival that you wouldn't probably usually play.
No, not usually. No.
There's a lot of bands here, and I've met a few of them already, who are kind of like looking for advice from seasoned veterans like yourself, right?
Seasoned veterans.
Those
Steve Claridge, Robbie Savage coming in.
No Sean Dyche, thank you very much.
Yeah.
But what would you say to some of those bands who are now starting out in a world where it's quite difficult to do this music lark? What would you say?
I think it's a question of working out how much you want to do it and working out a plan for yourself once you've reached a certain age. The kind of, if I'd known what, if I'd had more of a perspective on my life, what I would have done rather than going to college and doing a journalism degree, there was no time for that as well as doing a band afterwards.
Yeah.
What you got to do is you got to be clever. You've got to, if you really want to make a living out of music, and I would caution anybody from focusing on that first and foremost. Yeah. The most important thing is to keep enjoying music, and at the risk of sounding patronising, that it becomes its own reward. It has its own magic. However, people, the more money you have from doing something, the more time you get to exist in that world. Like, frankly, I want to make money, so I get to spend more time making music. It's a circular logic.
Yeah.
It's. I wish I'd done or studied in an area which allowed me to do short-term amounts of work and make like a good hourly wage when I wasn't touring. But as a result, I didn't do that. I ended up working tons of badly paid temp jobs.
Yeah.
For years, working for local councils and stuff in housing, stuff like that. And as much as that stuff can be rewarding, it's very important if you're in a bubble of musicians to step outside that bubble a lot, to realise that even though your music is incredibly important to you and some other people, it means nothing to other people. After the first burst of McCluskey, that was actually a really good thing for me to get away from it entirely for a year or so. So it's to remember why it is that you do it. It's to surround yourself with good people, hold on to the magic, and just be realistic about earning money. How are you going to plough your way through it? And my advice would be, unless you got money to burn on a family sense, don't go and do a music.
Is that even more so now than when you were starting out?
Probably, yeah, because everything is so much more expensive. I mean, in our initial run at McCluskey, we were living on about $4,000 each a year. And it was dark, but we could just about scrape through. I mean, the equivalent nowadays, I guess, would be $8,000 or $9,000, but you couldn't get by on that. Even in a really cheap place to live. You will end up making sacrifices if music is the thing you want to do, unless that music is instantly commercially accessible. So if you end up resenting those sacrifices, stop making them. They shouldn't feel like sacrifices, and part of the challenge and the fun of it should be overcoming those obstacles. You don't want to just do it on easy mode, no. And we definitely haven't.
Right, I'm going to end it there. Thank you very much, Andy. Really appreciate it, your time, and thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Cheers.